Welcome to Working On It. I'm Dr. A, and I'm a clinical psychologist aiming to make your life just a bit more manageable. Remember, the tools and the tidbits that you pick up on this channel are purely educational. They can't replace therapy, but with some practice, they can help you along in your daily life. So let's get started. Today we are going to be talking about attractiveness. We're going to talk about how to make ourselves magnetic to anyone. So we're not just going to be talking about in a romantic sense and attracting the right romantic or sexual partner, but we're going to be talking about how to attract people in a business setting, in a social setting, and we're going to figure out what the things are beyond just physical appearance that matter and that make us attractive. So let's talk about it. First of all, let's be honest with ourselves, and that is that attractive people, the world is just a little bit bigger to them. People who are attractive and magnetic in the way that we're talking about. They do get more jobs, they get more opportunities in general, they get more forgiveness for some of their shortcomings, right? They get more favoritism. That is just the reality of the world, so we might as well make ourselves as presentable and as magnetic in the world as possible so our world can open up as big as possible and we can have access to the most possible opportunities, right? Now, I say we're not going to be talking about the physical things, but the truth is physical things do matter, right? Hygiene, the way we dress, and the way we put ourselves together out in the world, and grooming does matter, right? So even in a courtroom, they will tell the defendants or the people that are defending themselves against going to jail, or if people have a retrial, you know, the guys they'll tell to sort of groom up their beards and their eyebrows, and the women they tell to put themselves together and make sure their hair is nice and put together as well, and sort of not out of control, because we see unkemptness as sometimes in that setting as guilt, but we see it as unfavorable and unlikable, and we're kind of like, ugh, we make judgments, right? So even though I'm saying physical things is not what we're going to be talking about, of course they matter, but what I'm talking about is being as presentable and as put together and as clean as possible, essentially. Not the actual physical features that people have, because people have all kinds of different tastes, right? So now that we've sort of chatted for a second about the physical stuff, let's get to the nitty-gritty of all of the other things that make us attractive to people that have kind of nothing to do with physical appearance. One of the number one things, the top of every list, is availability and interest. You want to not just show up to places, that's not quite enough, but you want to present yourself as available and interested. So in a date setting, that would be something like, instead of just showing up for the date and sort of nodding along, that would be like being honest and saying, you know, I was really looking forward to meeting you. I was really excited about today, right? You're showing both availability and interest and asking questions about them rather than taking sort of a back seat. Yeah. In a business setting, it would be something like, let's say it's a networking event, telling people why you're there, what it is that you want to do, how do you want to move forward in your career, and what it is that you want out of the setting, out of going to the networking event in the first place. Oh, well, I'm here because I'm at this point in my career, but I really wanted to move up to this. I'm looking for this, and asking them and trying to get to know them a little bit. Well, what do you do? You know, what work setting are you in? What is it that you're here for? So not just showing up places, but making very clear that you are available and you're interested. And the best way to do that is by being present and showing that you're curious about the situation, about other people, and be there. Don't be on your phone. Don't be somewhere else. Don't say, well, I showed up and it didn't work out. Really make sure you are truly present, available, and interested. Okay? That's step one. To go along with that, how do we show we're interested? Well, body language is a really big part of that. We can present ourselves and speak through our body more sometimes than we even speak through our words, right? We can say that we're interested, but our face and our body language might be showing that we're terrified. So when you are at a party, on a date, in all these social, business, or romantic settings, make sure that you are not showing closed off body language. This says 1,000 words. I've never been home relaxing, having the best time, and caught myself crossing my arms. No, we usually cross our arms or close ourselves off, whether it's by this or holding a cup or a plate or a person in front of us. We are telling the world, get away from me. I'm unhappy. I'm not open to this. I just sort of want to be left alone. And people pick up on that and they'll sort of stay away, right? So we want to be open body language, not closing our body off, not being also in a corner, sort of being in the middle and mingling, right? Because nobody wants to feel like they're cornering you if they approach you and you're already in the corner. And then when you do get to the point of speaking to people, make sure that you make good eye contact. Eye contact is really important. It goes with that showing interest part that we talked about in the first section. Eye contact. And lean in a little bit. Lean in, gesture with your hands. You know, on these videos, I gesture so much. I can't help it. I'm like, bah. So maybe somewhere in between me and whatever feels natural to you. So body language, showing that you're available and interested, right? And the third one is conversation. We've sort of worked up to conversation. I don't want to say don't be boring, but don't be boring. And what I mean by that is there are questions that are conversation enders, and there are questions or statements that are conversation extenders, right? If I ask you about the weather, where's that going to go? First of all, the conversation ends in about 4 seconds. And second of all, you're not getting to know me in any way, and I'm not getting to know you. Make sure that you are asking questions that could branch out into other areas and that help you get to know me and help me get to know you. So I could ask you something like, oh, do you like sports? Is there a favorite team that you have? And you can tell me, yes, a favorite team, blah, blah, blah. And that could extend the conversation because I'm getting to know you. Maybe you're telling me your team is somewhere you used to live, and I could ask you how it was living there. Maybe I can tell you about my favorite team, or, you know, I'm actually not that interested in watching sports on TV, but I love playing sports. This is what I do sort of recreationally. Do you play any sports? So it has so many branches that you can go from that one question rather than talking about the weather or how are you fine, how are you fine, right? Is your question or what you're trying to start conversations with available to them getting to know you and you getting to know them? And is it available to other conversations that it could sort of spill over into? Make sure you are doing conversation extenders, not conversation enders. So show availability and interest. Make sure you have really open body language, and make sure you are speaking with conversation extenders, not conversation enders. Okay, these 3 things is what I want to start with. Obviously, this is the tip of the iceberg. There's many, many more things we could talk about when it comes to attraction, very specific things, but I thought we would start here. Let me know in the comments below if these are some tips that you've tried and you've noticed certain results. Anything that you might be struggling with, I'm sure other people struggle with as well. I could answer those questions. And let me know if you want more parts to these kind of videos, more videos about attractiveness, attracting the right people into your life, and being sort of magnetic to the people around you, whether that is in business opportunities, social settings, or attracting the right mate. So give this a whirl. Just keep these 3 things in mind and only work on these 3 things. Don't worry about anything else. And like I said, also on top of being put together and presentable, I think this could make you feel more comfortable and it could attract people to you in a way that will feel good. I post videos every Tuesday and Friday, and in the next video, we're gonna go back to talking about thoughts. I have a whole thoughts playlist you could check out. Next time, we're gonna add on to that and talk about how to stop overthinking. I know people have asked me many times, how do I just stop? How do I make my mind stop when I go into intrusive thoughts or when I'm stressed and I'm just trying to go to sleep and I just have these thoughts about work over and over and over again, or I have heartbreak and I'm thinking about that person over and over and over again. How do I just make it stop? We're going to talk about it next time. Until then, practice with these attractiveness tips. Let me know how it goes. You got this. See you next time.